On the next Canine Corner, we look back at some of the best dog care and safety stories. Want to know how to travel safely with your pet this summer? AAA gives us some tips. Plus, learn the best way to walk your dog from Daddy's dog walking, and we find out what the benefits are of microchipping your pet. All this coming up on the next Canine Corner. Hi there, I'm Riannon Trutanich, your new host for Canine Corner, the show dedicated to dogs. Today we're taking a look at some past stories here on Canine Corner to find out how you and your canine companion can have a safe and fun summer together. Traveling with your pet can be fun, but it's important to make sure your dog is well taken care of and safe when you two hit the road. Megan Medic caught up with our friends over at AAA to find out how to keep your dog cool and comfortable on a road trip.
More people than ever before are traveling with their pets. And because of this, every year AAA puts out a Traveling with Your Pet book so their members' vacations can go as smoothly as possible.
As you would want to be aware of keeping your children safe on a trip, it's really important to keep pets safe and comfortable on a trip as well. And it's not just throwing them in the car and going along with you. You have to be a little prepared, you have to know what you're doing, and you have to know what their needs are as well.
Some of these needs include food, drinking plenty of water, knowing when your dog needs to stop and go to the bathroom, and when they need a little recreation time. This is where AAA recommends you do some research before hitting the road.
This way you know where there might be dog parks along the way, national or state parks that you could take your pet out into, and also pet-friendly hotels and motels.
To help minimize travel surprises and keep pets as safe as possible, there are some items pet owners should have on them when traveling with their canines. A carrying case or crate, a harness that straps them into a seatbelt, an extra set of dog tags or form of identification, a bottle of fresh water, and make sure your dogs are with you at all times.
One of the things that people ask us about is, can I leave my pet in the car? And the answer is no. You wouldn't leave your kids in the car either. Temperatures in the car with the windows rolled up can reach in excess of 100 degrees in 10 minutes or so. And that's on a moderate day. Here in the Southwest, in Southern California, it can get higher faster. And so it's important to take your pet out of the car.
Okay guys, I've missed my cute corgi friend Jack Ryan so much. You remember him, he won the AAA Pet Photo Book Contest. So Susan came out with Jack Ryan again, and you guys do so much traveling. You're always at a lake or a campsite. How do you keep this cute boy safe on all your adventures?
Well, one thing I do is I travel with him in a crate at all times in my car. Jack, I have 2 crates here, and they are secured at all times.
Susan hooks her crates in with bungee cords to make sure they will not move around when driving.
And I always travel with his ID tags on in case something were to happen to him. And I always leave his leash on just in case something does happen, the crate pops open, at least hopefully he'd stick around enough for me to be able to stomp on the leash and at least grab a hold of him in case he gets away from me. When we travel to a lake or a campground, we're in our motorhome. In a motorhome, I don't have the crates because that blocks the aisleway, and that's unsafe in case something happens to us. So I put my dogs in a harness.
The harness Susan uses has a hook to attach the leash, goes over Jack Ryan's head, and fastens into the seatbelt. This way, if something were to happen, such as a sudden stop or an accident, the dog will always be safely locked in, just like a child in a car seat.
And one thing I would also bring up is don't attach them just with a collar. If something were to happen and you were in an accident, you could snap their necks if they were to go flying.
Just like that.
And boom, their neck is going to break. So always have them in a harness.
Always
don't attach it to a collar.
When most of us bring our dogs into the car, it is usually for just a quick trip to the park or to the vet, not necessarily for an overnight vacation. For short trips like these, Susan uses a collapsible felt crate. And inside this free movement crate is my precious foster pup Waffles, who also has some travel safety gear on.
She also has a harness that she uses.
Yes, and that can be attached to the seatbelt as well.
Yes, to protect her little neck.
And if you don't have a special hook, you just simply take your leash and tie it to the seatbelt.
No matter where you're going, if it's down the street to the vet, or for a weekend getaway, the dog will always be in a crate. Would you ever have your dog on your lap or free ranging the car?
No. No, I would not. For
Write
one
that down,
reason.
everyone. I'm writing it down for sure.
Well, your dog is a projectile in a car accident. That becomes 35, 40 pounds of moving mass. And for one thing, the dog can be ejected and killed and run over if he gets ejected, and or injure you, you know, if he hits you. So it's very dangerous to have a dog loose in a car.
I want to thank you so much for coming out today and supplying us with these amazing tips. You know, it's just so important to keep your pet safe while traveling. You never know what can happen on the road, and I know for me, keeping Owen safe is the most important priority in my life. So keep your pet safe as well. Write down all of these amazing tips from Susan and Jack Bryan and our friends here at AAA.
And if you're staying closer to home this summer, there's no better way to soak up that summer weather than to take your dog for a walk. Megan Medic spoke with Daddy's Dog Walking to find out how to properly walk your dog.
Brian Warren took a job as a dog walker over 10 years ago, and instantly he knew it was the best job he had ever had. He started walking dogs from 9 in the morning until 6 at night and was never happier.
I started my own business 2 years ago, and our primary focus at Daddy's Dog Walking is forming better relationships with dogs and their owners. And we do that by providing dog walks, pet sitting services, and house sitting services.
With the busy nature of pet owners' lives, a dog walking service can provide that extra TLC your dog needs when you can't be there.
A tired dog is a happy dog. If you can get your dog exercise during the day, that's going to make for a more relaxed dog when you get home from work, and that'll enable you to have more quality time with your animal because he's not bouncing off the walls.
Besides getting the necessary exercise, Brian says walking your dog can bring other great benefits into your animal's life.
Walking your dog is a wonderful opportunity for you to bond with your animal. A lot of people see it as taking your dog out to go to the bathroom, but it's so much more than that. It's an opportunity for your dog to get exercise, and it is an opportunity for you to bond with your animal.
Before going on a walk, it is important that the dog is calm so they are able to enjoy the walk and not be worn out simply from pulling on their leash.
When I go to meet dogs, I try to slow things down. I try to bring the animal into my calm, assertive energy, and I try to get the animal's attention by talking slower, quieter, and I try to get the animal to calm down. Most of the time, animals are very excited to see us. I try to bring them in to this calm energy. That gives us an opportunity to bond better. Dogs listen more when things are slower and calm. When dogs are excited and energetic, they don't listen as much. They don't pay as much attention because there's so much going on. So that is one of the things we focus on at Daddy's Dog Walking, is becoming assertive and calm leaders. That creates an opportunity for animals to bond with us.
Not only are walks with our pets a bonding experience, but they are also the time where the dynamic of the pack leader and pack follower is established.
Once you get your dog following you on the dog walk instead of charging out in front of you and leading you down the street, it creates opportunities for you to take care of their behavior in so many ways.
To make sure that Brian is the perfect fit with your four-legged friend, he always does a free consultation before starting any service.
When you call me for service, I need to come and meet you. I need to meet your dog. I need to see his environment. I need to see what he does. I need to see how you interact with him. That way I'll know better how to help you and help your animal. If there's any needs or concerns or problem areas, we identify those at the initial consultation, and then we can begin your dog walking service.
Above all, we all want someone we can trust taking care of our pets.
I bring a level of comfort with animals, and I like to think that I bring a level of comfort with people.
A proper dog walk helps your dog listen to you and makes for a very happy pup. Brian feels very fortunate to be able to do what he loves every day.
My favorite part of the job is seeing owners get benefit from what I do when they're not there. When I hear owners are having a better relationship with their dogs due to the work that I'm doing when they're not home, that is the best part of my job.
Being a dog owner myself, I took my energized boy Owen to meet Brian and see if we could learn some tricks to improve our walks.
All right, guys, well, I am here with Brian from Daddy's Dog Walking. And Brian, I would like you to meet my cute boy, Owen.
Hello, Owen. How are you, buddy?
Now, I usually walk him, and I use this harness, and I use this retractable leash. But I know that for today, since we're going to be training, we're going to use a different leash, correct?
That's right. We can change the dynamic on the dog walk with the different tools that we use. So if you want to show me how you walk Owen with the harness and the leash, that would be great.
Okay, sure. I mean, he's going to be showing you how he walks me.
Very good. Let's start
All right.
there. That's a good place to start.
All right, Owie, let's do it.
Perfect.
No, Owen, over here. Come on, you're crazy. So
that's great. That's
that's
perfect.
a typical walk
Yeah,
for us.
you can see that he's going to get a lot of exercise like that.
Yeah.
But you can also see that his mind is always constantly active. He's always looking for something to do, something to smell,
Yes.
someplace to go.
Yes.
And that's not going to allow him to relax very much.
Okay.
So what we're going to try to do with Owen is I'm going to try to show you, now he's had no training on this, but I'm going to try to show you the difference when you use a leash and a collar.
Okay.
And I'm going to try to get him to follow me, and I'm going to try to get him to relax a little bit. So let's see how that works.
Hey, Owen, come here.
Come here, buddy. Hey, Owen. Shh, wait.
So, do you think that it would be better if we take the harness off altogether?
He can keep wearing the harness. That's fine.
Okay.
But I am
so
going to
we'll
hook
take
him up to his collar,
Okay.
and we're going to see if we can get Owen to follow me on a walk instead of leading me on a walk. So
Okay.
we try to start from a very calm place, like we are now.
Okay.
And I know your
Oh, I
mommy's
know.
here. That's so
I know.
excited. This is good, though. This is good.
Yeah.
We can try to see the difference. He wants to be with you,
I know.
and I'm
going
going to see if I can get him to pay attention to me.
Okay.
Owen. Owen. Sit. That's a good boy. Yeah, I know your mommy's here and it's so exciting. Touch is good.
Okay.
Dogs respond to touch.
So if I want him to sit and kind of stay calm, do a little touch.
If you need to change his behavior, like if he's jumping up and you don't want him to jump up,
I don't want you to jump up.
you can touch him with your fingers and it's just a very gentle
Okay.
touch. You want to try to break his concentration from what he's doing now.
Okay.
As he's sniffing. You want to say, hey, sit.
And the snap, is the snap an attention
Just
getter?
to draw his attention.
Okay.
I want him to look for me for guidance. So anything I can do to draw his attention to me via touch or sound is a good thing.
With Brian's help, Owen made some amazing progress on the leash. I could tell the shorter leash around his neck was a big change from the extendable leash on his harness. But with the leash around his neck, Owen is able to feel the movements of the leash in my hand more accurately, which helps lead him in the right direction.
Well, Brian, I want to say a big thank you to helping Owen learn how to walk on the leash today. One more question that I kind of had for you is, what do you think the proper way is to hold the leash? You know, I kind of noticed that you were holding it down here and not where the little hand hole is. So why were you doing that?
Well, I'm trying to hold the leash in a position where it creates a good dynamic. You want your dog to be, next to you, not in front of you. So I just try to hold the leash comfortably and relaxed and secure. So wherever you hold the leash, to make that happen is a good place to hold the leash.
Okay, definitely. So what we're going to do from now on is I'm not going to use his retractable big leash that he can run away from me with. I'm going to use this leash and have some more control. And I'm going to use it around his collar instead of his harness, just so he can kind of stay focused on me when I pull a little bit on his neck, so he can stay relaxed. If he is looking away, I'll snap, so to get his attention, and I'll do a little touch so he can look at me and kind of say what, and then I can tell him what. So that's what I learned today, and I hope you guys learned the same thing. So Brian, if people want to get a hold of you and Daddy's Dog Walking, where can they go?
You can find me at daddysdogwalking.com. That's daddies with a Y, daddysdogwalking.com.
Perfect. Thank you so much again.
Thank you, Megan.
It was great seeing you today.
Thank you.
Those are some great tips. We're going to take a short break, but don't go anywhere. When we come back, we're going to answer all of your dog care and safety questions.
You can't buy a best friend. You can love them, pet them, care for them, whether they want you to or not. You can take a picture or 50. You can bring them with you wherever you go. You can jump, yell, hide and go seek, play dress up, or not. Go for a walk, or not. You can fly to the moon, travel the world, or just stay in bed. You can't buy a best friend like that. But you can adopt one. 'Cause we're connected. We're connected.
Welcome back to Canine Corner. I'm your host, Riannon Trutanich. Today on Canine Corner, we're taking a look at some past stories, but first, we stop by the Torrance Animal Control to get all of your dog care and safety questions answered. Let's take a look.
I have a dog named Baba who's about 7 years old, and my question to you is, where is the safest place to keep Baba on a long trip in a car?
It's not required by law to restrain your dog in a vehicle. I would say I don't think the front seat is any less safe than the rear seat, but I would keep the windows only cracked. I see a lot of vehicles, cars going down the road with the window down, the dog not restrained at all. That would be very dangerous. The only other issue is if you have a dog in a vehicle and you leave the vehicle unattended, that could be potentially a violation of the law. If you leave your dog unattended and it's too hot, too cold, no food, no water, that is a violation of California state law, and you could be issued a citation for that. We do get a lot of calls for dogs left in vehicles, especially this time of the year. If it's 80 degrees outside, guaranteed to be 100 plus inside your vehicle. So a dog even in the vehicle for 20 minutes or a little bit more could be deadly to a dog. So we take dog and vehicle very, very seriously.
My question is, what are the best ways to distract my dog when she's home alone? Because she's been very destructive when we leave her at home.
Well, generally a destructive dog is probably a dog that has a lot of energy. So by taking him on walks in the morning, walks when you get home, some way to keep the dog occupied during the day, probably won't be so destructive. I think he's just got a lot of unused energy and he's taking it out on your furniture or whatever when he's at home. So that type of dog is probably a dog that lends itself, maybe a husky, something like that, that needs a lot of walking, a lot of care. They don't do well being confined while you're at work.
I was just wondering, what's the safest harness or collar for a dog?
It depends. So big dogs, they're strong and they can definitely pull. There are pinch type collars. Harnesses are great. You have much more control with a harness, but it would depend on the dog and the size of the dog. Training always helps, so get the dog used to being walked on a leash. But sometimes a pinch collar, even though it looks a little rougher on the dog, it's designed just for that, to give the dog a little sense that, hey, something is wrong, and correct his behavior while he's walking.
Great questions and great answers. Now, microchipping seems to be everywhere, but is it the right choice for your pet? Let's take a look and see what the process is all about.
Only 15 to 20% of lost pets ever return home, so with one simple injection, owners can rest assured that their pet will be found.
The microchip number is in here, and it's also on the receipt right here.
Oh, okay.
You guys are all set?
Great.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
It's a one-time fee. There's no annual registration fee. We use Rescue. It's an international chip. You can go online, register your animal after you get them chipped, and then there's no cost to update your address if you move or, someone else adopts out your animal.
There are various microchips on the market, so research is the way to discover the pros and cons. Mike Rangzi and his family decided this extra step was the way to go.
He has a tag, but the tag can get lost, or he might not be wearing his collar when he runs away, or if he runs away. So if he has a microchip, we'll be able to find him.
First Care offers this low-cost clinic across Southern California. The right-size object is $45, and there are no vet fees. And your pet can get one at any age.
We have a yard now, and we're concerned, what happens if he gets out or we're looking the wrong direction and, God forbid he gets away from us.
The vet uses a universal scanner to check for previous chips and to be sure it works after injected. And luckily, in recent years, the technology has advanced.
And when they first came out, that was a real problem because not all scanners read all chips. And so, you'd put a chip in, but if your animal got picked up by a clinic that didn't have the right scanner, they wouldn't know there was a chip in there.
Now, the most interesting part about this is people come out, they take the time to get their pet microchipped,
and then they forget to go home and put the information in the system. And if you do that, they're never going to associate you with your pet.
That's all the time we have today. Thanks for joining us here on Canine Corner, the show dedicated to dogs. I'm Riannon Trutanich, and we'll see you next time.